You're back at the lab. Let's go. Like that, so I did an intro. Good, hey? Like, heaps of effort put into that. Don't knock it. I've lost something. I need this. Hang on. We need a ruler. Why do we need a ruler? Because we're doing this thing here. The diffuser on the back of the car here, these exhaust pipes, that was loud. They come out of the back of the car. Like that. That's where they've been. It's not where they have to go. It is where they are going, more or less. So we're all about trying to reduce weight at the moment and make things better. Currently our diffuser, it now sits sort of this angle-ish. So the exhaust pipes are going to be hanging way, way, way down in the breeze, which it's probably not a lot wrong with that because it's not going to be a lot of air drag from this. And then that's actually going to provide thrust when we need thrust. You know, while we're trying to accelerate, while we're trying to go faster, there's many hot gases roaring out of here, which will propel the car forward to a degree, a minimal amount. What do we got here? 100, 185, 190, something like that. That's the top of the exhaust pipes. And we can confirm what I just said by walking over here. I use the screw holes as a reference point. So we'll put the ruler there. And that will be the top of our exhaust pipes at that point on the diffuser. Now, we're trying to reduce weight and stuff. And I need to think about whether we can actually still fit this in the car when I've fiddled with it. At the moment, if we drilled holes in the bottom of that diffuser, without the bumper in the way, the panel will just slip over like that and you can screw everything up, and that's good. Screw it up as in fasteners onto the vehicle, but not screw it up as in it won't fit the vehicle anymore. I'm actually thinking that we chop 100 mils out of here because it'll make it lighter and faster and better. And we put the exhaust holes in this panel here because it'll be easy, and I want to make this panel lighter anyway. So we just put 2 3-inch holes in that right down near the base of it. There's 100 mils there in between the bumper and the exhaust pipe, so that can work. We can do that. I don't really want to have the pipes in the boot. They're just going to get in the way while they're trying to work on the car and everything. So game plan at this point in time, which may change, you're watching this in real time, I'm not going to edit out any faux pas, is make that a solid pipe instead of a tapered pipe. There's a few different ways we can do that, but we've got not much material, so we'll see what we come up with. I just came up with it right now. So we're going to chop about 100 mils out of here. So we'll take this piece out of here and effectively stick it on there, but we'll do it the easy way. We'll just chop this off here and we'll chop that off there. We'll join this end up here, and that's game over. Done what we need to do. Before we do that, clamp some bits and pieces on those pipes and make sure they can actually still fit in and out of the vehicle in that state. Because as you can see, we're weaving in and around the diff and under that torque plate, I'm calling it. Engine mount plate. It's probably a better name. And past this. Although I have mentioned I want to get rid of that. So let's see where we're at. The situation is, this side is absolutely fine. There it is there. We can chop that piece out there that I was talking about, make that 100 mils shorter from there to there. That is fine. That's no problem at all. That comes in and out of the car. Piece of cake. This one? Nah. Not a chance. It only just comes in and out of the car as it is with this length. If I shorten it up, you just can't do it. Removing this maybe diff out of the way. Yep. It would come in and out, but people are probably asking themselves why I'm worried about taking the exhaust on and off. It's just a maintenance thing, just in case I have to. I just don't like building things that turn into really hard work later on, because if you make this really hard to take this on and off, guaranteed you're going to need to for some reason. Ma, he gone done cut the exhaust up again. Yeah. Can't get caught up on all this if it's not there, eh? No, the plan is to lie the muffler down a little bit more than what it was, so it'll be a little bit closer to this CV joint that ends up living here. Not that it's ever had any problems with temp or anything, and we don't run the car long enough for it to be a serious issue. It's probably going to have more effect on the dyno than anything else, because it spends more time running long periods of time on the dyno. So I'll lie that down a little bit more and see where we end up. I'll make this work somehow. Haven't figured it out yet. Alright, that's tacked. That's pretty awesome. We can't have it any lower than that, really. We've got the end of my finger gets a bit tight as it goes around through there, so not much clearance. It's a pretty big flange. It'll soak the heat away into the joint and into the diff. It won't hurt to warm the diff up a little bit more than what it gets anyway, so that's okay. Yep, so I'll weld those up, and I'm going to cut up here somewhere, and I'm going to figure out what we're doing with this. I mean, where that is now would basically drag on the ground, so we can definitely get some length out of it as long as we can still get it in and out of the car. Alright, so they actually tapers towards the outside ever so slightly. Doesn't look like it from that camera angle, but I'm not sure if you can see it. Cocks out that way. That's fine, as long as we make the other side look the same. And it doesn't. So it doesn't because over here we're starting off with minimal clearance between that and that. And on this side there's heaps. And in fact the muffler starts a little bit further back than what that does as well. So that means this side here has come off. Gonna chop it up and make it more like that one, which is unfortunate because that's got our fancy blooming bell mouth thingy that we made the other day. Is going to need a slight tweak. Excuse the muffled sound, wearing my mask, not because of COVID. So I reckon, my guess is if we chop that off there and chop that off there and flip that piece around, speaking of COVID, jeebus, that will achieve what we want to achieve. Okay. Looks the same, doesn't it? It doesn't look horribly different. Apart from the fact we've got turbos completely different orientation and stuff, so we can't have it exactly same, but it looks pretty good. Decent amount of clearance there for that joint, so that won't get as hot. Of course, it's just the bolts that hang out on the side of the flange that are closer on that one. So not bad, and I've put this across there like that and stuck my level on that, and it's bang on actually at the moment till I weld it. As soon as I weld it, it's going to move. We know that. We're not worried about that. What isn't bang on is the location of these O2 sensor ports, our link CAN lambda system. That's not in the right spot, and bearing in mind this isn't the end of what we're doing here, because there's still things happening beyond here. To this point we're just worried about getting I'm just worried about getting these resonators looking feng shui in the right spot. So they're a little bit lower than what they were before. That's good for C of G and all that sort of carry on. It'll reduce the length of this pipe, so we've made the car a little bit lighter. It's cost thousands of dollars in labour, but whatever. Yeah, I ever think about these. It could be that I actually shift them all together, because they are actually not orientated correctly anyway. You're not supposed to have your sensors hanging down, because condensation drips off the bottom of them and damages the sensors. All you tuning train spotters will have noticed that in the past. I'm surprised nobody said anything, to be honest. Through a process of trial and error and cutting something I didn't think I was going to cut, but did anyway, and using masking tape to glue it together, and then testing whether you can get it in and out of the car and in and out of the car, that works. So we look at our line, front mounting point for the diffuser is there. It comes up about here somewhere, so we're going to be at that point. It's pretty much right on the edge of that fold where that is basically perfect. So that's not going to be needed at that full 90 degrees. It's actually too steep. That would have to flatten out a little bit, which is great. And then we'll put a little bit of tube on there to get it back out of the back of the car. I'll potentially use, look at this, some here. That's a bend though, but I've got some straight, some aluminium straight, and build that into the diffuser so that it draws air from the engine bay, pulls that through with the exhaust. So that's actually going to work out bloody good. Now I've got to make sure we can do the same with this side here and get it in the same point of the center of the car. This is actually going to end up, the exhaust pipes are basically going to be where they were, except much higher up. So much for this being a diffuser install. It's more like an exhaust system rebuild. So they're hitting there. Plenty of room most other places. Is hitting on the top of the diff, which we can't do much about that. And so it just doesn't quite fit. Probably hit it with a hammer. It'll go in. Alternatively, I guess we just loosen these bolts. I can probably just lean on that. Yeah, that'll move. Just to give that little bit more room to get that in and out. If I can do that, then I'll leave things as they are. That's only taped on there at the moment. And success. That part comes in and out. Adjust this other side, match that one. Figure out where the holes need to be. Drill the holes in the back of that, bolt that back onto the car, and carry on with that panel that I wanted to make today, which is going to happen tomorrow. That one's done. So what we do now is take the bumper off, because that's going to get set on fire. We'll have to do something there. I'll figure that out soon. What we do now is we make a template based on those holes. Should be easy enough, right? This is just a little bit proud of that. So, and you'll see I've actually trimmed that off. I'm going to have to weld it now because these rivets won't hold on the edge like that anymore. I can literally just use that to mark out the holes, just a piece of scrap aluminium, put screws in there. Might as well catch that one for a bit of accuracy. Mark out where this goes, take it over to wherever I've put the diffuser. Lost it, gonna have to make another one. Where'd it go, Cyberman? He's not very talkative. And then we can drill a hole in the back of it. And we can take this off. And we can put the diffuser back up and look at it and go, yay, one more to do. That should take another 6 hours. This one should be a bit easier, actually. I kind of hope. It is just a case of chop that mount off, chop it there, put the tip in the hole that we can figure out where it is based on where this one is, and then cut the top pipe, make the two meet, mark it, go and tack it, put it back in the car, make sure it's right, weld it up. Done. I might actually do that tonight. Let's do that tonight, see if I can get it done. It shouldn't take as long as this one took. This took forever. You'll have to excuse Dave in the background there. I'll turn that off in a second. They're not quite in the middle, pretty close. That'll actually just tweak across with the mount that we need to put on the back of the subframe to hold it dead smack bang in the middle. Time to do that one. Don't worry, there's another panel coming here. I've got to come up with something beautiful there, so it's not just going to stop like that. And we've got to do something to... I want to put that bumper back on there because it's going to look pretty naff without it, and we need to protect that from fire. Cheating. So to get the pipe in the middle, bit of silicone around it, 2.5 inch silicone joiner, fits in the 3 inch hole nice and snug over the top of the 2.5 inch pipe. Everything else is all done, welded, got that marked, it's ready to go. It's actually after 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's going to get welded tomorrow, right? So I'll tack that in the car so that it can't, well, it'll be wrong because it'll move afterwards. It's what stainless does. But there you go. Apart from that being all crooked, we're getting there. Rightio guys, time to go inside, have some dinner. Cheers, boy.